This is Michael Popok. Time for Legal AF After Dark. Judge Cannon. Do I have to say more? Well, I may not have to say more in this intro, but we certainly discuss what she's just done in postponing indefinitely the Mar-a-Lago espionage case against former President Trump on Legal AF. Take a listen.
Judge Cannon, she finally did, Michael Popok, what you and I thought she was going to do. She's indefinitely postponed the trial. There was a hearing back on March 1st that was supposed to address the trial date. And she had indicated on March 1st that she was going to move the trial. Jack Smith requested July of this year. Donald Trump requested never. And Judge Cannon seemed to be indicating that she was going to go with never. But then March passed, there was no order. April passed, and then she oddly included a deadline for like SEPA Section 5 disclosures. That's where the criminal defendant in a case involving classified information discloses the type of documents that they want to introduce at trial. So it was odd that she was moving the trial, but then included a pretrial date for SEPA Section 5, which, by the way, Jack Smith told her to set SEPA Section 5 back 9 months ago. And remember, Judge Cannon previously on a motion for reconsideration on a different topic about whether or not she could disclose confidential informants and confidential FBI information. Remember, she complained that Jack Smith did not educate her enough on the law about not disclosing confidential informants, which, by the way, he did. But then when Jack Smith educated her on the law of SEPA, which she didn't know, but I get it, it's her first SEPA case ever, and SEPA, if you're not familiar with it, I mean, you should open up a book and read about it. But 9 months ago, Jack Smith was like, hey, you should set a SEPA Section 5 deadline. That's what all judges do early on in SEPA cases. She denied that. Then she held a March 1st hearing to review the trial date, said she was going to move the trial, didn't, waited until April, then set the SEPA Section 5 deadline in May as though we were going to trial when we knew trial was not going to happen. Then Trump asked, we can't do the SEPA Section 5 deadlines. So then she paused the SEPA Section 5 deadlines, but she didn't yet move the trial. And then this week, she indefinitely postponed the trial and then issued the scheduling order, which is like unnecessarily detailed, but like oddly detailed, the thing. And then she never meets her details. Like, it's one thing if you're detailed oriented and then you follow through on the details. She'll come up with all of these like specific dates that are actually not often in scheduling orders. And then she'll never meet those dates and deadlines. And then she said, basically, I'm indefinitely postponing the trial date. Folks, this is a case that should have taken no longer than 9 months to go to trial at most. Most of these facts are undisputed. And it just goes to show you the problems that arise when you have judges like Judge Cannon. Honestly, the way Judge Cannon is like a judge would be like if Alina Habba was a judge. And I wanted to give Judge Cannon at first somewhat of the benefit of the doubt, even though she completely butchered the other Trump case that was before her, got overruled twice by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. But it would literally be, in my view, if you had Alina Habba or even Tom Fitton, who's not even a lawyer, who just wears tight shirts, as a judge, like, you would get these types of rulings. These rulings are not thoughtful. They're internally contradictory. They're late. And if a student took a class on national security law and was asked to draft orders, she would get an F. If she was a student, as a judge, it's just absolutely, it's pitiful. It's shameful. And she brings disgrace not only on herself, but she brings disgrace on other judges there who are great judges by acting that way. And that shouldn't be the case. It's really unfortunate. Jack Smith doesn't have a lot of options to appeal because judges have a lot of discretion when it comes to scheduling. Popok previously laid out factors, though, where if a judge is mishandling a case, you could still potentially go to the 11th Circuit by showing kind of systemic mishandling, perhaps. But the one thing this opens the door for, which is what's going to happen with the DC case, which is which is there for before the Supreme Court. But I think the Supreme Court's going to wait until late May, mid-June before making a ruling there. The right-wing justices there are going to drag that out as far as possible. But folks, you see what's at stake. You see what's at stake. Presidents nominate, the Senate confirms judges. That's the process that we have here. And so for those who thought, let's shake the system back in 2016, and I don't know about Hillary Clinton. Well, this is what you get. This is the outcome of shaking the system. You get Judge Cannon's, you get Justice Kavanaugh's and Amy Coney Barrett's and Justice Gorsuch's, and you get a right-wing Supreme Court that overthrows Roe v. Wade. You've got states monitoring women's pregnancies. That's the world you get. And so it just shows the stakes here.
Welcome back. I don't know of any other program in the entire YouTube world around podcasting that does a detailed dive into all things Donald Trump, civil rights, women's rights, voter rights, constitutional rights, criminal law, and civil law than Legal AF. Join us every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where you'll, on Wednesdays, I do the show with Karen Freeman-Agnifilo. On Saturdays with my co-founder, Ben Meiselas. And then we do hot takes like this one about every hour on the MeidasTouch network. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF podcast, until my next Patreon exclusive content, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.